Hello, my cordial and accommodating comrades. I am Buckwsr, putting the do into do it yourself, and I welcome you back inside the 1998 Bounder motorhome. And I know many of you have joined me on other repair and improvement projects on this motorhome. And we got back recently from a trip, a really great trip, and I was just thinking it really is turned out really nice. Doesn't it look nice in here? A little messy, okay. But I'm just really happy with this RV. And we got back from a nice long trip to northern Michigan. The RV rode great. The truth was, that's really our first trip since we got this thing almost, but not quite, almost 2 years ago. And it rode great. We had a good time. And we did have one problem that I'm going to address with you today. Our refrigerator stopped working. Now this is a Dometic Royale. It works on either propane or house current, 110 volt shore power. You can run it off the generator. But it's not working anymore. I don't really know what happened, and I'm not going to troubleshoot it or attempt to fix it because I figure it's 23 years old, and the purpose of our video today is to replace it. Even from when we got this RV, this wasn't in great shape. These the racks all looked kind of tarnished or oxidized. I don't know how you call it, but it just hasn't been real nice. And so now that it's not working anymore, I'm going to replace it. Now, I want you to forgive me in advance for what I'm about to tell you. I know some of you will not like the decision that I've made, but it is what it is, and it's my money, so it's on me. But I'm not going to replace it with an RV styled fridge. I don't need, here's why. Well, here's what we're going to do anyway. I'm going to replace it with this guy here. Frigidaire refrigerator freezer, 7.5 cubic feet. Very similar dimensions to the one that fits in here. This was a 7.3 cubic feet, so it's about the same size. And my reasons for going with this is purely financial. This cost me $229 plus tax. A new one of these is probably $1,400 or $1,500. I have never, in the 5 years that I've had RVs, this is my second RV, on neither of the two that I've owned over those 5 years, did I ever run the RV off of propane. Most of the time the RV sits here on our property. It gets used. We allow other people to use it, and I use it myself. Even sitting here, it's sort of like my clubhouse. I love hanging out in here, watching TV or doing my reading, whatever. But we've never run it on propane. Even when we've been on the road, you know, we just ran it off of shore power or powered up by the generator. So the difference in price is really the main thing. I just don't want to spend $1,400 or $1,500 to replace that guy. So here it is. It's a Frigidaire. Very inexpensive. Got it at Walmart. $229 plus tax. And my first step is not going to be to remove the old freezer, but simply to get this one out of the box. And I might have to drag this project out over a couple of days because we have some people staying in it over the weekend, and I'm just going to get this out of the box, and I can plug it in right down here. Set the fridge right there where the box is sitting now, because I'm not sure I'm going to have enough time to really take out the old one and retrofit this new one in there. But when I get to removing the old fridge, definitely going to turn the camera back on so you can join me for that process. And looking forward to updating and upgrading the RV in this way. Hey, so welcome back. I actually recorded that last segment a few days ago and wasn't able to continue with the job because we had some guests staying here inside the RV. And so what I had done is just simply unpack the new refrigerator and set it right here so that they could use it during their stay. And now I've got a little bit of free time to try and pull out this old one and insert the new one. I actually have some another guest coming tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to get this done today, provided I don't encounter any unforeseen obstacles or setbacks. So what I want to start with is just to make the thing a little bit lighter, I want to remove the doors. It should be pretty much just taking this bracket off, making it a little bit lighter that way without the doors. Maybe pull out some of these racks also to make it lighter. And then I'll be able to start taking, unscrewing the fridge from the frame, the opening in which it sits. Okay, the doors are off. Now I'm going to pull off this top piece. And there's some wires back there. I'm just going to let it hang. And I got 1 screw, 2 screws, 3 screws, and then there's a few down the bottom also. That's spinning, but not coming. Better. We probably need to go take a look at things outside. So let's go outside and do that real quick. So this panel right here needs to come off. The slotted screwdriver, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, easy peasy. Now when you look here, got a couple of things to do. First and foremost, unplug the electric. And another thing we have to do is disconnect the LP gas line. Now, I don't have any disconnects other than the shut-off at the tank. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to plug this up since we won't be reusing it. For now, what I'm thinking, it's got this 12-volt valve that's automatic, and I think it would default to the shut-off position. So if I can leave that on there, that would probably allow us to disconnect this. Now let me see what I could do here. Some of these wires. Oh, I got another screw here. That bracket comes off. All right, now I can see this is got some kind of lock nut here, maybe. Might be able to loosen that. I'm Not sure what size I'm looking for. 5/8 is about right. Might be 9/16, but this is doing it. $10mm. There we go. Alright. Okay. So we separated from the valve. That's good. Another thing we need to do is to disconnect this 12-volt supply. This black one is the negative or the ground, so I'm just going to cut the positive and we'll put a wire nut on top of it. And the negative, and we'll wrap it up with a little bit of tape. Okay, good. So we've made all our disconnects, 110, 12 volts, and propane. So that's good. Now you got to figure out how to push it forward and in. Not sure if it's screwed down in any other place here. I'll look into that. Okay, so I spent a little time digging out some sealant that was in this groove here. Probably some kind of waterproofing stuff. So we'll go inside. I'll show you what's up in there so far. So yeah, I can grab here with, and so it's coming loose up there, and then down the bottom similarly. You can't really get much going down here on the bottom, and so it may still be sealed with some of that sealant or something that's just holding it. Still holding it glued down in the back. So I'll keep working on that till I get it loose. Alright, I think we about got this. Alright, let's set it down on a piece of cardboard that served as the packing material for the new fridge. But okay, that feels good. It's probably about this time where I need to get a helper to help me carry this thing out the door. Here we go. I measured. This is the only possible way, and it's only barely.
Okay, 1 second. Alright, you got here.
I'm coming down the first step.
1 second. Okay. Good. Next step. Right with it. 2. 1 more step. 3. 1 more. 1 more.
Hold on. I'm caught.
It's the
Hold on. I gotta stagger it. Next step.
Yep. You're out. Woo-hoo!
Great job. That might have been the hardest part. All right, so now I'm strategizing my plan. And the first thing was to measure the opening here. And what I have is an opening that's 24 inches wide by 60 inches or 5 feet high. And my fridge is measured across the back is 21 1/4. And from the bottom to the top, including this hinge right there and the cover on that hinge, is 55 1/2. So I've got to, I'm going to do something to make the opening a little bit smaller. And I did my measuring and calculating. So I need to build out the sides by 1 1/4 on each side. And then I got to do something about the top and the bottom. So I'm starting here on the bottom, and what I want to do is, using some old lumber that I had, this is actually nice, it's kind of a nice big piece, and I'm putting these down as my base. And the fridge will sit on top of that. So this is 1 1/2 thick. It's 2 by something. What is it? These 2 by 10s, 2 by 8s, 2 by 10s. And I'm going to put 2 of them in there, supporting the front and then the back. And so I'm going to screw that down. I actually have this, sorry, I'm trying to help you with light, but it's not happening. All right, so I actually have it overhanging just a little bit over the front edge. And that will allow me to caulk underneath it. And that'll be completely invisible, and I think that'll be a nice finish. All right, so then I'm going to screw that down, then I'm going to go run out and get some lumber to put along the sides and along the top, because I don't really have anything on hand to do that. So my next step before I go out is to fasten down this base, and we'll screw it down with some 2 1/2 inch or 3 inch screws. Something like this. This looks like to be about 2 1/2 inch. So a few of those here will be really nice. I'm going to drill a couple of pilot holes. You might remember when we were outside, so I've got 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood as a base, so I'm not worried about sending screws down too far or into causing other problems down there. I think we'll be all right with that. Of course, I've been cutting lumber, so coming back in and out, dragging some dirt along with me. But that's good. Like that. All right, now I'll screw down the back and we'll keep moving along. So just to give you a quick look at what I'm doing. So I'm building out the 2 sides and the top so that the opening is the dimensions that are most appropriate for the new fridge. So I'm using 5/4. This is actually 1 1/8 thick. I had thought I would put 1 1/4 on each side. This ends up being 1 1/8. But that's okay, so it won't be super, that way it won't be too particularly tight and be able to get it in without too much difficulty. And then I got a piece of 5/4 up here, and I cut it 3 inches wide. So now our total height here is 55 1/2 inches from the floor to the top. And that, of course, is the measurement we had from the floor to the top of the hinge right here on the fridge. So now it's about taking a little time to fasten these in with some screws, drilling them out, screwing them in. And what I think I'm planning to do is just have it stick out, the new frame stick out just a fraction, eighth of an inch maybe. And that will allow me to easily caulk along the sides and seal it in there well. Some future time I may paint these cabinets white like we did here with the kitchen cabinets. And that would look really good at that point. To just continue with the white. Won't be necessary to do that right now. So let me drill them out, put some screws through here, and secure them in. Another thing I wanted to show you is, you know, the old fridge had the rooftop vent for ventilation, and that was necessary. But I don't think it's necessary with this new one I bought because it's not going to be running on propane. I have the vents back down there. So what I did is I bought some of this insulation, and I'm going to stuff some of this insulation right up in there. Otherwise, that's just a cold, you know, cold air coming in there. And I'm probably going to hang some insulation down along the back wall as well. Well, you can hear the sound of the rain on the roof. Probably you can hear that on the video. And I'm really actually glad that it is raining because that allows me to see that getting a little water coming in behind this vent. And you remember I dug out so much of that sealant that they had back there. So I'm going to have to find a way to redo that. Because this thing does leak a little bit. You know, they had a big load of goop back there. So I'm gonna have to find a way to seal it off. But it's not that big a deal because I can do that from outside. And I think right now I am ready to put the fridge into place. All framed out. I hung my insulation on the back wall, insulated up there. And I think that's going to be good for now. Something else that I wanted to show you what I want to do is I bought some of this vinyl foam self-stick weather seal. And I'm going to put that around the sides and the top. It's 3/16 of an inch thick, so that should make a nice tight seal around the edges. I may set the fridge in place just to see how it sits before I put that weather stripping on there. Well, there, it's in there. Need to level it out just a little bit. But I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, so it's leaning a little bit towards the back. May have to shim the back a little bit. But I think got a bigger gap up here than I expected. But I may be able to raise the front legs as well as the back ones to make it fit in there a little tighter at the top. Well, I've run out of daylight, but do have the fridge installed, and there's one last step that I want to tell you about. I'm going to save it for another day, and that's to bolt the unit down so that it doesn't move while traveling or any other time. And what I think I'm going to do is just screw through the frame into the wood. There's a hole there. Maybe I'll drill another hole here, but that's going to secure it well. Let me go back inside and we'll wrap this video up as it's starting to rain again. But there it is. It's in. It's leveled. Looks good. It looks really good. I'm very happy. I had to do a little adjusting with the feet. I put in my weather stripping around the edges. Hard to see. Also across the top. Put it in too thick across the top. That may or may not do anything, but just to have good to have soft sides. And there it is. So that's an RV refrigerator freezer retrofit, and this project saved me quite a lot of money over buying a Dometic or Norcold RV refrigerator, and I think that's going to get the job done for me. I don't really care about firing it up with propane. I can just plug it in or run the generator. That's all I really need. And as much as your RV tends to sit parked longer than it spends on the road, this seemed to me to be a pretty good option. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, suggestions, questions, criticisms, complaints, whatever you want to give it to me. The comments are there for that, and I look forward to interacting with you. So signing off, Buckwsr, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. Bye-bye.